They built an entire business empire on it. The scheme was devilishly simple. First, they primed society with hysteria about scary cults and brainwashing. Panicked parents, willing to do anything to save their children, brought them money, effectively purchasing a ticket to hell for their own offspring. They delivered them into the claws of Patrick and his pack, believing they were saving them, when in reality they were paying for the services of sadists and sexual predators. Soon enough their appetites grew, realizing how easily they could manipulate the fear of loved ones. The deprogrammers expanded their menu. Now anything could be labeled a cult. A lesbian relationship, adopt and rape her to bring her to her senses, as they did with Stephanie Reith Miller. A failed marriage? That too. Take the case of Janet Canifax, whose parents hired Patrick to force their daughter to divorce her husband. It is difficult for me to imagine what would have happened to my family if I had crossed the paths with manipulators like Ted Patrick and his gang of deprogrammers during that difficult period with Michelle. Thank God for Abbas, who knocked some sense into me in time. Moreover, my profession, working with the most sophisticated psychopaths and maniacs, provided a sort of immunity. I doubt I would have allowed anyone to manipulate me so crudely. But thousands of other parents were defenseless. An endless cycle of litigation spun around Patrick and his abductions for good. He was sent to prison, but he returned to his trade with maniac persistence. Sometimes he directed abductions straight from his cell, remotely commanding his goons. Public outrage grew. Human rights activists sounded the alarm, but the paradox was that the courts often acquitted him. Judges believed the beautiful legend that parents hired Patrick out of love and his thugs were merely rescue specialists. And these are the founders of CAN, the very organization Alexander Dworkin boasts about on Russian television. When you overlay these facts onto Dworkin's own psychological profile, his sadistic tendencies, his maniac thirst for power, his history of violence on construction sites and in hospitals, it becomes clear Khan wasn't just a partner to him, it was a role model. The people involved in deprogramming are sociopaths just like him, but they managed a stroke of genius. They commercialized their sadism.